The overall budget, over 80% of that is for salaries and benefits. And that kind of makes sense because we're very labor intensive. So that kind of made sense. But here's what else I found. I found that when you hear about the negotiations that say they're going to give a base salary increase of 2%, 2.5%, 1.75, whatever that percent is, you think, well, that's not bad. That's keeping up with inflation. 2.5%, that's not a lot of money. But what they don't talk a lot about, and what folks like LoveyFax and other folks in the audience talk about, are these things called step increases. How many of y'all have heard of step increases? It's becoming more of a common day conversation, isn't it? Because what step increases do, it gives them a double hit on the increase. And sometimes it gives them a triple hit, just like Jim was saying. He saw people that made 7 to 11%. And here's how it works. We get a 2.5% increase on our base, but if you stay one more year, show up, you get another, in some step increases, specifically the W-8, you get another 4%. So you've just made 6.5% for just showing up one more year. And if you get more education, you move over to the right. So picture a left-right type table. You can get another 3 or 4% in there. So you can get between 7 and 11%. And so doesn't that make you scratch your head? How many of you all got between 7 and 11% increases between 2009 and today? Increases. Not decreases. But good point, because I thought maybe I said decrease. No, increases. Between 7 and 11%. So, I'm still scratching my head. I'm going, okay, something doesn't make sense. So, LoveyFax was born because the more I dug, the more I found. And the more I found, I thought, gosh, people got to know this. Trust and verify. What you're told, trust that it's the truth, but verify it. And when I verified HB 920, inflation, that sort of stuff, I found that wasn't true. And a lot of these half-truths, I'll say, have started to crumble. For instance, step increases, these two-tier step increases. How many of y'all have heard that step increases are mandated by the state? So that tells you that we have to pay that 4.25%, right? That's the implication. But do you know the step increases? They don't even call that step increases at the state. They call it a minimum salary schedule. And all that's there is to say that you must pay somebody at this number of years of service and this level of education a certain amount of money. It doesn't say that you mandatorily have to pay them more every year. Just as long as you pay the minimum, you're good. And folks, I tell you, we are way above the minimums. If you want to find out what they are, they're out in the ODE, Ohio Department of Education. We are way above minimums. So step increases are not mandatory. Provisions for them are, but they can be all zero. Proof in point, the concessions, they just froze the step increases. That just shoots that, doesn't that shoot that right in the middle? They say they're mandatory, but now they just froze them for 2 years. So are they mandatory or are they not mandatory? Okay, I'm telling you they're not mandatory. They can be zero from here to the end of time as long as we pay that minimum salary. So the more I found out, the more I needed to put stuff out on the web. How are we doing on time? Okay. What? Hurry? Okay, I'm going to hurry. I want to give you a graphic of what the difference between how much we pay in salaries and benefits against everything else we pay. So when you look up in the sky on a clear night, which I hope we have a clear night someday, you'll see the moon. The moon equals everything else in the budget except salaries and benefits. So salaries and benefits are the size of the earth. This is a pretty close representation of that. I was going to have this big elephant, bull elephant with a little baby elephant, and use the elephant in the room concept, but I thought I better not go there. So anyways, the earth and the moon, that's the difference between what we pay in salaries and benefits and what we pay in expenses. I can't even read that. So how many of you were seeing 2 to 3 times the rate of inflation increases? I kind of asked that before. But that's what we've been giving employees in the district over the past several years, about 2 to 3 times the rate of inflation. And it's kind of hidden in those step increases. So the step increases are things that got us. It wasn't the base salary increases because we kind of feel like 2.5%, that wasn't much, that's all right. But when you get people making 7 and 11%, that's a lot. So what got us was the step increases. So how many of y'all have had 2 to 3 times the rate of inflation in increases? Not many, I don't think. And then over a period of 10 years, many district employees have doubled their salary. That's kind of an interesting fact, isn't it?